Hey, buddy, welcome to Monday. Yes, it's Monday, October 21st, 2024. And man, was this a fast weekend. I can't explain this to you any other way than to say this weekend was both fast and slow. Things that I wanted to move quickly and get done took forever. Other things, not so much. But the sum total of it is yesterday, as every Sunday is, went by way too fast. It just did. It does every week. The bonus was Mama Winch, aka Mary Ann, had a birthday. And we were able to go over to her channel and see her. We've missed her this week. Well, last week. And we celebrated with her. She had some awesome gifts to share with people. I have no idea why she felt that she didn't give enough. My thought trend is it's your birthday. We should be giving to you, not the reverse. But that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, that's not what you're here for. You're here to talk about all the things that you saw in the title today. And we'll get to that. But before we do, I like to start my conversations out with first saying good morning or afternoon, maybe even evening, depending on when you're watching me. The time isn't the concern. The fact that you're here is. Thank you. For my new subscribers, welcome. Love having you here. I appreciate you. I value you. And I thank you. For my returning people, you guys already know it's a love fest over here. And I'm so glad to share some of it with you. That being said, I also like to start my videos out with a quote of the day. And please bear with me as I am getting used to indoor filming. My lighting is different and I will work on this. But please remember, this experience is not income generating. So therefore, it has to take a backseat to the expenses that I have in my everyday real off camera life. So I will be working on that, but it is not a critical priority for me. Said I. Okay, on to the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, if the world seems cold to you, kindle fires to warm it. I couldn't have said it better myself. If the world seems cold, if things seem unfair, the first question I would ask myself is, what am I doing to encourage the world to be good to me? You see, I have found, at least for me, now, your mileage may vary. I doubt that it will, but your mileage may vary. If you are just about the business of doing for others, being good to others, others will be good to you. There's no question about that. I have found when I am in what I like to call stinking thinking, what next? Who's going to do something else to me? Why is this happening to me? When I'm investing in negativity, unhealthy actions and behaviors, I'm getting unhealthy actions and results. I'm truly a Gen Xer. I remember when they first started teaching computers in schools in the early 80s. One of the things that teachers would constantly say to us was garbage in, garbage out. If you're pouring garbage into the computer, you're going to get garbage information out of it. You're not going to get where you want. You're not going to go where you want. So rather than do that, make a plan. Make a good plan, and you'll get where you're going. I'm 54 years old, and a lot of my life, that wasn't always what I believed or understood or knew. And the results, well, the results showed it. So I've made some changes, and the results are much improved, at least for my spirit, even if not for always my wallet. Hence why I warn you, it's going to be a minute on the light thing. However, Today's coffee of the day. I am a coffee connoisseur. I love, love, love my coffee. This is something you will always see with me in some capacity or other. And please forgive my sinuses. As many of you know, I'm still getting over whatever the hootenanny attacked my body. How rude. But today's coffee is the Atkins chai latte protein. I mixed my Cafe Bustelo instant coffee with a scoop of chicory because I wanted just an extra chicory flavor in coffee. Woohoo! If you don't know, then you need to know. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I added a little bit of cardamom and cinnamon spice into the ingredients along with my fake sugar. Added a little bit of hot water, blended it up, merged it with my protein over ice. That is her. She is it. And yes, it is good. Oh, I did add a pump of chai latte syrup. I forgot about that. But that's just because I wanted that extra chai flavor. Mm. Yes, 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 yes. And oh, yes. With that said, excuse me. I also like to let you know, guys know about the weather. Even though I anticipate that we will remain indoors, although today I could have been outside, we will most likely remain indoors for the rest of the next 2 seasons. And that just is what it is. I do that because I'm sorry, but you hear me in my sinuses. I don't think you want to hear me in stereo because I have whatever crud comes down the pipe for not taking care of myself. So indoors and we will be okay. I apologize. There is always going to be a glare of some nature on my glasses, but to take my glasses off, I can't see. And since I do a lot of reading because I have notes that I do for my channel, because otherwise, believe me, Michelle off the rails is not what you want today, especially not today. The brain is barely engaged. It is currently 5:47, and yeah, no. There's not enough of the coffee in my system to make all of this function in a normal and sane way. So no, we will have notes. Besides, I know what I want to talk to you about, but I'll forget. I am indeed a squirrel. Um, Weather. The high today is supposed to be 78. It is currently 53 degrees. So it's not horrible outside, but it is not what I would like to sit outside and crochet in right now. So with that being the case, we are going to be indoors. And I thank you for your indulgence. Before I get into the topic that I wanted and I'm going to talk about today, hi, it's Monday. That might not be the easiest day for you. It's probably one of your hardest, but it's okay. I love you. I'm so glad to see you today. I want you to remember that you need to eat. I want you to get some water. I want you to just be okay. Okay? Just be okay. I wish I could get there to hug you. I can't. I'm hugging you in my mind. I love you, and you mean the world to me. Please eat something. Drink your water. If you have medication that you need to take, please take it. Don't just look at it sitting on the table and not take it. You need to take it. You're worthy. So keep going. Okay. Have a great day. Have some fun if you can. If you can't, have the best day you can. And that's all I'm going to ask of you. Come back and let's talk tomorrow. I apologize. For those of you that are new, I take a moment to give a special message to people who watch my videos who might be struggling, because you never know. You simply never know. So that's all we're going to say about that. Trust me, it's needed, and I have heard from people who have appreciated those messages. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, I hope that you will be patient with me as I do that. Okay. So, one of the things that some people experience when they decide, oh, I want to crochet, or someone says, you should learn to crochet. Oh, we do this. We are enablers. Those of us that know about the joys and the therapeutic results from crocheting want others to do it. It's something we love to do, so we want to share it. And as such, we tell people, you should crochet. And I thought, what do you tell a new crocheter that they need? Because, I mean, let's be realistic. They don't need all this. Well, they might need that. That's my damn it, darling. I highly recommend her. She's still recovering from a headache. She had gotten better, but then yesterday happened, and yeah, now she's recovering from a major concussion. She has been severely concussed. Anyway, I am I'm one of those people who, when I invest in a new activity or a new experience, I want all the things. I don't want to be unprepared. That's always a mistake, because I don't always know if I'm going to do that thing for very long or even more than once. So I thought carefully, and of course, I consulted with my friend Mr. Google about what things are must haves when you first start to crochet. And here's the results that Mr. Google and I mostly agreed on. We had some differences. That's me and Mr. Google. We have a love hate relationship. Bear with us. Anyway, the number one thing you're going to need is a hook. And as someone who has all kinds of hooks, I have hooks that are that run the gamut. Let me just say that. I have my bougie hooks, of course. Of course I do. I'm Yes Michelle. Why would I not? And that's my furls. I can just reach right there. Yes, I have my furls blush. Let me bring her in so she can get her attention. That is a G 4.0, but I have them, all 10 of them, in the blush series. And I love them. I absolutely love them. But I say that with a caveat. That is not a brand new to crochet purchase. At least I wouldn't recommend it, because you don't yet know what your hooking style will be. You don't know what your tension control is going to look like. Are you a tight crocheter? Are you a loose crocheter? Are you a pencil gripper? Are you a knife gripper? If you can't answer those questions, you don't need to be spending $25 a hook on hooks. That's just saying. Then there are Naomi's. These are a great entryway into a semi-decorative ergonomic hook. They're a little shorter to me than my furls, but for 12 bucks, this is a good investment. For me, not a great investment. I'm clumsy. I drop these things all the time. And as such, I have broken off tips and I have lost beautiful hooks. So resin is not my choice. Plus, it doesn't play well with every fabric. I do know that Omi, yes, can you tell? I kind of like my Omis a little bit. Have wood hook heads. I like the way that hook head is designed. So that's just me. Again, As a new crocheter, maybe that's not the right route to take. I also have my prims. Again, this is me. The prim intro price, if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me because again, it is not 8 o'clock in the morning. I am not about to go to Mr. Google and ask him what the stores are charging for these. I want to say they're about $7 a piece, give or take. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Depending on what country you're in, they're probably going to be a little bit more or less. I'm giving you what it is based on where I am. Then there's my loves. These are my dots. My dot hooks, which are super so cute. Again, have that point at the top, that sweet hook, and that brushed metal for the actual part that you're hooking with. So yeah, I love those. But for a new person, go to Amazon or wherever your online purchases go from and just buy whatever their entry is. I do recommend you get something with a grip, usually a thumb rest because they're going to be flat. And you can rest your thumb right there. It'll help you get control. It'll help you start having a more predictable tension and have your work show up a little bit better. The other thing on our list is you're going to need yarn. Do not, if you're new, do not go out and spend $15 or more on some high-end bougie yarn. Don't do that. This is an example of that. And please know I've been crocheting for almost 23 years. Well, a little more than 23 years. This is high-end bougie yarn. This is Hanked Up Malabrigo Rios in Aries, because I'm an Aries. But this is about $15 to $18 a hank. This is only enough for a medium-sized project. But at, I think this is 6 balls or 6 hanks of yarn times 15. I'm worth it to me, but I also know I'm not going to waste my yarn. My intro recommendations for yarn are going to be the things that a lot of people don't like. Red Heart. Red Heart is economical. Red Heart is easy to get. Red Heart comes in a myriad of colorways, and you can get just enough to do a project. The first projects I recommend are going to be simple. Make a dishcloth. Make a square, just a square, so you can learn how to do a chain, do the first basic stitches, and you can learn how to fasten off the things you need to do, basic border. Now, mind you, you cannot use a Red Heart acrylic yarn to make a dishcloth or a washcloth because those fibers are not what you use that for. However, it's a good entryway. You could sew 10 or 12 of those little 5x5 squares together and make a scarf. Something you can use and you will be proud to own. So with that said, be economically wise with a yarn purchase. Don't go out here spending a whole lot of money on yarn, and don't invest in yarn you don't understand yet. Scissors. Those of us who do a lot of projects will admit we have multiple pairs of scissors. I usually buy these in sets of 4 so that I can drop them in my project bags because it never fails. When I need a pair of scissors, I don't have one available because I'm out and about, and who carries scissors with them? Me. I do. Guilty right here. A measuring tape. That I thought was interesting because I am guilty of owning a measuring tape and never knowing where it is. I have multiples. I have multiples. And mind you, guys, we are on my desk right now. So a lot of what I'm looking for is close by. But this is a measuring tape that as you pull it out, it stays. I love that. This is flexible. So if I want to measure around something, I can lay it on the area I want to measure and pull it and get the number that I'm looking for. And then when I'm done, press a button and it all recoils. I recommend that. But beyond that, don't go out here buying those cutesy dootsy measuring tapes that may not work. You pull them out and then they never recoil, and you're stuck with a $6 or $7 product that you're not going to keep up with, and it doesn't work. Invest a little bit of money, but don't go crazy. Um, Yarn, I said, of course. I have yarn on my list twice because you can't crochet without yarn unless you're using plastic, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, a yarn needle or a darning needle, as some people call them. I use what they call a wool needle, and you'll notice the head of that is actually plastic. I like those because I can usually put my finger on the top of it and open it up and make it wider. I'm going to put that right there so you can see it a little bit better. It's flexible. I can get a chunky weight yarn or a one weight yarn through that hole very easily. These are not for fashion. These are for prescription because your girl can't see. So the last thing I want to be doing is fighting with a yarn needle, trying to get yarn through the hole that I can't see. So those are my go-to. You can find them on Amazon. Of course, you can find them at most any store. I've not seen them at the big box stores like Joann's, Michael's, and Walmart, but I've absolutely seen them at places that sell a lot of sewing notions. So there's that. And let me be clear, I have not perused every single aisle of the sewing area of every Joann's. So again, your mileage may vary. That being said, books and patterns. I highly recommend that you buy 2 books when you start crocheting or you want to learn to crochet while simultaneously reading patterns. The first book, I don't know if it's in here because nope, it's in my living room because I use it a lot, even this many years later. And that is my Stitch Dictionary because it explains what those, symbols are, what those initials mean when I see them in a project. Like I might see capital B, capital BP, or the capitals, and then it might have SC. If I didn't know what that meant, I could go to my Stitch Dictionary and it would explain that for me. If it said triple treble, since I heard that last night, and I've never done one because I think that's a dumb stitch, it's too tall. But personal opinion from somebody who's been doing this. With that said, if I didn't know how many loops to put on my hook before creating that project or that product, then I can go to my Stitch Dictionary and look it up. The second thing you need is a how to crochet pattern book because it's going to teach you in an easy to understand fashion how to make those first steps, how to create a chain, how to make your first single stitches, how to make your first double stitches. Those are things you're going to want. And most of the ones that I've seen have had at least 1 to 3 different projects in it that you can produce. So you can say once you've learned the basics that you also know how to make X, whatever X may be. So at least those 2 books. But don't go crazy because again, these books can be an investment. A crochet journal. I am a person who writes down pretty much everything because I have the worst memory and I do too much. I admit it. Your girl does too much. She's too dang busy doing everything, little busy tail. With that said, yes, I'm talking about her, and I can because I know her. She's cool with it. She already knows. With that said, I like to write things down, and I have to because I do so many different things that it's easy for me to forget a project or a pattern. And that's how a whip, work in progress, becomes a UFO, unfinished object. You have all the mindset that I am going to make that amazing sweater. 5 years later, you find that bag with a bunch of dust on it. I mean, the dust bunnies literally have grandchildren at this point because you left that thing sitting, untouched, unworked, unfinished, and forgotten. And it happened because you didn't write it down. You didn't make it a priority. You didn't give yourself a goal date to be finished with it. JB's crochet and Chris's hug. But I know you're working on it, so I'm gonna leave you alone about that. A little. So there's that. Get you a good crochet journal. Um, I don't know if women. I don't think mine is available right now because again, it's in the living room with a lot of other things that I am working on. But I have a crochet journal that I love, and it works for me. Stitch Dictionary, I mentioned a crochet mentor. Hmm. This is something that made the difference between whether I made a blob instead of a blanket and whether or not I honestly stuck with crochet because I am, again, a Gen Xer. So I've been around a good minute. As such, not everything was available to me then that's available to me now. And by that, I mean the internet and YouTube. I couldn't go on the internet and pull up YouTube and look up a tutorial of how to make a beanie hat. I had to check with people who I knew how to crochet and ask them, how do you do dot dot dot, whether that is crocheting in the round, how do you keep your count, dot 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 dot. And another thing that I didn't mention but I absolutely require and I highly recommend for new crocheters are stitch markers. Now these are the ones I use. They're quilting clips, but I like them because you can clip them on to your fabric and either mark your stitch or hold two pieces in place as you stitch them together. So that's me. And that's our list. 10 things that I highly recommend as a new crocheter that you need and the things that you don't. With that said, thank you for giving me almost 30 minutes of running my mouth on a Monday. I appreciate you. I value you. I thank you. I love you. Love you. And we're going to switch over to overhead crochet time. I'm not going to talk during that time. For those of you who've been here before, you know that. Um, you've heard bird sounds in the background. I keep that on because my brain is always functioning and that helps me stay focused. And I want to say, whatever you do today, do it well. Be kind to others, but most importantly, have some fun today. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, before I go, keep the streets watched because I am going to drop a bonus video. I got some Happy Mail this weekend that I want to share with you. So I made a video about it. Do me a favor, go over, like, check it out, and subscribe. But before you leave this one, hit that like button, please. And thank you. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.